Welcome, everybody, to the 10 Count Selection Show. Please follow us at the 10 Count _ on Instagram and Twitter. I'm your host, Thomas Crow. With me is our producer, Zach Johnson.
How's it going, everybody?
Man, I'm excited. We have our tournament starting this week. This Thursday, our tournament starts. We have it'll go into early June, and I'm excited.
Oh, I'm excited too. I'm glad to be here, guys. This is your guys' first time seeing me. Normally, I'm back behind the switcher or making the questions. So yeah, let's get right to this selection show.
Yeah, we're excited. So what we did here was we had been making the rankings, but we realized that they had not been very fair rankings. The way we were doing it wasn't right. The returning champs were 5-2, but they were ranked third, so it didn't make much sense. So what we decided to do was we decided to just scratch that. We're going random. We're going 8 teams, randomized bracket, and the winner will be crowned the 10 Count Season 1 champion. So it's just kind of going to be random.
Yeah.
So the way we did it was we used brackethq.com to make the randomized bracket. As you can see, randomized seed, and it's just single elimination. So without further ado, I guess we get to our first seed. Our first seed of the first annual 10 Count tournament, the Cold Cuts. Nate, Andrew, Henry had a chance to get a win against the returning champs, scored 7 points, but just Andrew hurt him in the end.
Yeah, that happens. But our second seed is the Stallions. We've got Jace, Nick, and Jack.
Two very formidable teams, 7 points per game, 9 points a game. So, the Stallions in just about any other game probably win that game, but the returning champs score 12 points to tie a record set previously by the Eiffel Powers. So, 2 0-1 teams that two very, very good 0-1 teams. I could see either of these teams making it at the top side of the bracket.
Oh, for sure.
Next, matchup 2, the returning champs. Jake, Jump, Oscar. You've seen them every match so far. We had to get them out there, and they're 5-2. They're scoring 7 a game, and I think the biggest thing for this team, they've won 5 of 7 knockout rounds.
That is crazy. 5 of 7 knockouts. So that's listing like top 20 of anything. So they've been pulling those answers out from anywhere, and yeah, killing those knockout rounds.
Yeah, and facing them at the 4 seed, Zach. Who is it?
Ball of Fury. You're going to have to help me out with these names.
It's Kai, it's Connor, it's Nolan. These guys had a rough showing against the returning champs. They actually were the start of the returning champs win streak. The returning champs are on a 3-game win streak, and it started due to them scoring 4 points total. So not a good showing at the beginning by the Ball of Fury. But, the returning champs only scored 5 points in that game, so it goes to show that maybe the questions in that matchup were a little bit harder.
Yeah, and since it's a single elimination, the tournament could go any way.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anybody's ball game. Who knows after 10 categories what's going to happen. Number 3 is the Electric Dragons. Previous record holders of 9 points per game, Max, Caleb, Nick. Nick, still to this day, is one of the most dominant players we've ever had in a single match. That they are one of the 2 teams to have beaten the returning champs in the knockout round, so definitely a solid team to start the second half of the bracket.
Yeah, and then next up we've got the 3 Stooges.
We got Reese, Chase, John. They were part of the inaugural match of the 10 count, only scoring 3 points so far, the lowest we've ever had. And they're put up against a rough match against the Electric Dragons. So the 3 Stooges are definitely going to need to be on their A game in this matchup number 3. And as we look to matchup number 4, we have 2 teams left. Obviously, one of them, the Eiffel Powers, tied for the highest scoring match ever, decimated the returning champs 12-5. Brian, Jeff, and Noah. Developing story here for the Eiffel Powers, though. Noah, being down in Bloomington, is not going to be able to come up for the tournament.
Damn.
So the Eiffel Powers, you will find out in match 4 leading up who their 3rd and substitute member will be.
And I would like to throw out that I think the Eiffel Powers has one of the best names in our in our tournament.
Definitely the most creative name in the tournament. And we have 1 team left. Obviously, we don't have a picture for them, but the Threes Company, Josie, Emily, Carly, started out strong against the returning champs. We're up to 4-2 at one point.
Yeah, just filmed their show last week. Mm-hmm. They had a really strong performance. The girls, they really carried their weight and showed up against the boys.
Absolutely. I think going into that, nobody really gave them much of a chance. Ended up only losing by 2, scored 5 points. So they're definitely against a formidable foe in the Eiffel Powers and their substitute. So looking over the entire bracket, we get the Cold Cuts, Turning Champs, Electric Dragons, Eiffel Powers. So what we're going to do is we have a Stallions member with us. Jace Miller's with us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go interview Jace. We're going to come back. We're going to do our picks and our tournament, our who we believe might win the tournament. Obviously, we are impartial. We're not biased about who. We're just doing this off of who we see. And then we will reveal to you what the championship trophy looks like for the 10 count. So without further ado, we're going to go to Stallion member Jace Miller. Jace, looks like you just got done with a heavy trivia workout.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me how you feel about your draw facing the Cold Cuts.
Well, Cold Cuts, they were very good. I've seen the match. But I think we got a good draw because, we scored 9 points, and any other day we would have won. But at the time, the returning champs, they tied the record. Mm-hmm. So, but I've been in the training room. We've been studying, all that. Mm-hmm. We're gonna break the record. We're going for 13.
Okay.
I just want to know, Jace, what does your daily training for the trivia look like?
Daily training, I wake up at about 6 a.m. and I start reading all kinds of facts. I just go to Google, just say, hey, show me some facts, and that's what happens.
That's what I do to make the questions. So I think you've got a pretty good chance at learning some new trivia, maybe applying that, and doing pretty well in this tournament.
Right.
So
got to think like I'm making the questions.
That's a good way to look about it. Jace, being an 8 seed and having tied for the most points total, second most points total over in a match, do you guys take that as a chip on your shoulder, being the randomized 8 seed, even though it has no order to it whatsoever?
A little bit, but I love Cinderella stories. Mm-hmm. So we're looking for that. So if we have to beat every team on the way down, we will.
You know what, Jace? Being the producer and the host, we can't wish you any way of luck because we'll probably get in trouble for tampering.
Right.
But we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Jace.
Thank you, Jace.
All right, Zach. So, looking at our bracket now, who do you have in matchup 1?
All right. Sorry, Jace, but I think we've got the Cold Cuts advancing to the second round.
I have to agree. I think the Stallions matchup against the returning champs was a very high-scoring match, and which I think goes to show the questions might not have been the hardest questions. Tournament time, we've been making questions. They're not going to be easy.
Oh, no.
So I think the Cold Cuts are very intelligent, very smart, so I have them advancing. Second matchup, who you got?
Returning champs have had a lot of practice, so I see them doing pretty well. They tend to work pretty well together as a team, except for Oscar's little phone a friend last week.
Yeah. Oscar's father, Steve Helgeson, is not allowed to be a phone a friend anymore after he tried to cheat. But I agree with you. The returning champs have played 7 matches. This will be their 8th. They have a lot of practice, and they know how to use their power-ups well. They know when to take a break, all that stuff. So I agree. I have the Cold Cuts and the returning champs, which is an awesome matchup in the semifinals. Electric Dragons, Three Stooges.
All right. I actually am going to go for an upset here, even though the rankings don't really mean anything. Mm-hmm. I think Three Stooges are going to take this one.
Okay. I mean, the Three Stooges, their first match was at the very early stages of the 10 count, so questions hadn't really been refined yet. So it was pretty early on. But I still had the Electric Dragons moving on. They decimated the returning champs when they were in here, and I only think they can get better.
Yeah.
Bottom category, number 7 seed Eiffel Powers and Three's Company.
All right. As much as I would like to see Three's Company take the Eiffel Powers down, I do believe Eiffel Powers will be advancing and maybe even going to the finals.
Yeah, like you said, the rankings make absolutely no difference because they were random. But I see the 7 seed moving on in this matchup. So, a rematch of our only overtime game, craziest finish we've ever had on the 10 count. Who do you have moving on between Cold Cuts and returning champs?
I think I'm going to have to give it to the returning champs. Like I said before, they've just had a lot of practice, and I think that they'll just show up and perform.
I agree. I think the Cold Cuts are very intelligent, but like you said, the returning champs, they've just been here so long, and I think they're going to continue to be here. You had the Stooges in the Eiffel Power. I had the Electric Dragons in the Eiffel Powers. Are we both going to agree on who moves on
Eiffel
out of this
Powers.
one? I agree. I think we got a 7 seed in the championship. So according to our bracket right now, we have the returning champs a 5 seed, The Eiffel Power is a 7 seed in the championship, a very high seeded championship.
And
who do you have moving on? Winning all.
that's going to be a really fun match.
I think
I,
so,
I
too.
really hope that match happens because that's one that I really want to see happen. And honestly, I think I'm going to give it to the returning champs.
I agree. I think there's a lot of, in the clubhouse of the Eiffel Powers, there's a lot of moving parts right now.
Yeah, they've got a new teammate coming in, so.
I think with a new teammate and just a lot of moving parts, it might be hard for them to get their mind focused on the match. And I don't think two matchups before is enough. I'm going to have the returning champs moving on and winning the first ever 10-count championship. So don't listen to us because we don't have any idea what's going on. But if you did, you're the returning champs. So now, Zach, I think we have to show the people
All right.
what's under here.
Just pulling it straight up.
We're just pulling it straight up.
Oh.
There it is. The 10-count championship, WWE Tag Team Championship belt. It's beautiful. It's 24 karat gold. And the winner of the first ever 10-count trivia will win this. Zach, I don't know about you, but I'm excited.
I kind of want one myself.
Yeah, is there any way we can get one of these?
I think so.
I think we should.
And who knows what will happen? Because if the returning champs do take this win, or whoever takes this win, it's going to have to be split among 3 members. So they're going to have to figure out who's going to hold on to it.
It's going to be a big game of tug of war.
Eiffel Powers, I could see Brian and Jeff arguing over whose classroom that's going to be hanging in or whose office.
I absolutely agree. Well, Zach, thanks for kind of coming out from behind the scenes. Thanks for doing what you do behind the scenes. So I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
Oh, I'm really excited.
For Zach Johnson, our producer, for Stallions member Jace Miller joining us, I'm your host, Thomas Crow, and this has been the 10 Count Selection Show. Thanks for watching.